going on, Russ?
Hey, good, bro. How you doing?
What's going on, Lance?
What's up?
Sir, thank you guys for coming.
Yes, sir.
So, first topic I want to bring up was high school hoops. So, we've all been there. Lance, Cardinal Hayes, Russ, St. Mark's. So, we know back then it was only newspapers and basketball camps on how to find these players, right? So, what I want to ask you guys was, what is the difference of high school basketball culture then and now?
All right, well, I'm going to go first because I know Lance can go very in-depth with this.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead, man.
But today, 2018, we have social media, gift and a curse. Recently just spoke about this. I mean, yes, it's a good thing for the kids. They're getting exposure. They're able to post their highlight videos. They're able to get this stuff out more, quickly, immediately. The coaches, scouts, people are seeing their stuff. I'm following kids who have 18,000 followers, and they don't know anybody but their closest friends and their teammates. So, obviously the game has changed, but at the same token, it can be a curse because kids get a little big-headed. They had one good game and a good highlight clip by one of these media outlets, and they think they're on top of the world, and they're losing what, is getting them there, the fundamentals.
Yeah, you're right.
Lance?
I agree. I think the authenticity of the game is kind of lessened a little bit. Back then, I feel like some of these, your opponents weren't your friend. A lot of these kids today are friends because they play outside ball together a lot. And again, with social media, it's just so easy to kind of latch on to other kids, which is cool. But, back then when we were playing, it was much more gritty, much more competitive, more of me. I got to really focus on what I'm doing. And again, just going with him, the social media aspect, the videos, you got people who are recording stuff, just trying to make a career for themselves. Forget, just recording the kids. It's I just want to come up as a videographer, photographer. So now you have those people offering their services to the game, and it's just really making everything much more accessible and easier to highlight.
Now, you say the competitive aspect of it. How now you see kids reclassifying, going up another grade. How do you guys see that in competitive field?
No, that's a great point because back then there was not a lot of reclassifications of, especially friends that I knew. Oh, wait, you're not coming with us to 16s, you're going to stay 15. So, it was a little bit different. I think kids now more are doing it just, for the bigger picture. The kids, find that you do it, really have a plan in place, are really trying to make it and are making the best decision for them in terms of what class they can play. And even sometimes they work in other kids' favor, such as Marvin Bagley going early. School may want you for the class of 2019 instead of 2018 or vice versa, actually. But it's beneficial sometimes, but it's a little different. I get what you're saying.
Got it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a trade secret. I don't even know if we should be talking about it. but essentially, I wouldn't even call it cheating, but it's your timing. Everyone says there's perfect timing and knowing when you are supposed to do something or when something's supposed to happen to you. I am one of those kids. I was one of those kids who was able to reclassify myself.
Oh, wow.
But it was for a great opportunity. I was, given the chance to go to a 4-year prep school. They didn't want me to have a 3-year experience. They were like, if you're going to come here, we want to make sure you get 4 years, forget the basketball. And I was like, you know what? You guys are right. And I do not regret that decision at all.
It's awesome.
But at the same token, it's some people are trying to cheat the system. They're figuring out that that kid from Missouri who's killing is going to Duke, and if I go to Duke with him, I'm not going to be able to play as much.
Yeah.
So let me go to a prep school real quick. Let me do another year, and then he'll be on his way out, or he won't be a factor, or I know he's leaving, and then I'll be able to spotlight. It works in a lot of people's favor. Some people it doesn't. I mean, again, a trade secret. And to each his own.
You're right. So, good point, guys. So, we know since tomorrow is March.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh. So, we know what that means.
March Madness.
Oh, man, it already started.
So, exactly. We've heard of the scandals with the FBI and NCAA. So, my question to you guys is, what do you tell somebody when they say the NCAA should pay college players?
It's tough, and most people might not like my perspective on it. I've always been a kid of academics. I wasn't the best basketball player, so I come from a perspective where I always saw college as a chance to better yourself in the classroom, first and foremost. And even coaches still today preach that you're a student athlete. So you go to that institution, and then, obviously if you're good enough, you get that scholarship, you get a chance to play for the basketball team. I don't necessarily know how I feel about college players getting paid, because then, if you do lighten up and say, yeah, okay, you're not going to pay the best player on your team the same as you're going to play the worst player. So that's going to take another long amount of time to figure out how do you now.
So that's not the solution.
Players. So I don't think that's the solution. And again, these kids are amateur, especially if you're staying for a one and done year. I think that, you should stick it out. There are meal plans. I've been to college. We've all been there. We know we have meal plans. These kids aren't starving at the end of the day. I do get certain situations where things may be less than others, but again, I think it kind of can mess up the sport a little bit if you pay the kids. But there's a lot of different takes you can take on it, and I definitely understand both sides.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, great points. I'm on the same path. I just think I'm no genius, but there is a way to make sure people are treated and compensated fairly. And I agree. I don't think paying the kids while they're in school is a good idea. But at the same token, there are many systems in place in the world, in business, where people are compensated for work that has been done in the past, in the future. So like, for example, we think of 401ks as money that's taken out of your check and put away, and it matures and you get it at a later date whenever you're ready to take it out, or whatever the case may be. The NCAA can definitely, put something like that. And I hope the NCAA doesn't come for me. You're putting kids' faces on posters around school. You're putting them in video games. You're creating their jerseys, and without their names, but people still know that number 12 jersey is this, this player. Like, people need to be compensated. You're taking my image, you're taking who I am and what I've done for this school, and you're making money off it. You guys are sitting on cash, loads and loads of cash. You're making so much money off of these ticket sales. I feel like the kids need to be evenly paid, and not even a thing where it's like, star player gets this, and no. I think everybody in the class should get paid a certain amount of money at a certain time. So like, I'm class of 2021, and I played 2 years there, and I'm getting paid for 2 years of my service on that team. I think that it works out like that. It should work out like that.
It's going to be interesting. It really
is. It's a good point. So you guys heard of Lavar Ball, right?
Yes.
Big Ball Brand!
Yeah, so we know he's creating a league called the JBL, where players can come in, get paid. So do you guys have any thoughts on that? Would that be the answer for the NCAA? Would that combat them?
It's interesting. I think there's still, it's still like fog and mirrors, so you kind of need to work all that stuff out. But in the grand scheme of things, I think he's just trying to create another lane, which may necessarily not be the wrong thing to do right now. However, I still feel like a kid growing up in the States, at least, that I'm going to want to go from being a great top high school player to playing for the Duke or for Kentucky or for one of those major blue blood schools like that, just because of the whole college experience, getting to go to schools, being, admired by your peers and being the man on campus. I still feel like that'll be missed and very heavily wanted out by some people, because, the saying college is the best 4 years of your life. Some of these kids are going for 1 or 2. I think they'll definitely take that experience, especially if they're going to consider maybe paying college athletes down the line.
Okay, good point.
I love Lavar Ball.
I
didn't like him at all when I first heard about him, but when you start to listen and read and see the videos and learn the whole Ball family story, you start to realize this guy's a mastermind. He has a vision, and you can either support it, you could either ignore it, or you could either, really like it and love it. Not saying it's the answer, but competition is good. It's going to keep what we call the G League very competitive now, because we have G League, JBL, NBA, and then we have a bunch of overseas leagues. So if the JBL is out here competing with all of these leagues and offering some type of advantage to these kids versus what the other leagues have, to each his own. At the same token, I agree with Lance. Like you said before, education is key. That ACL, that ankle, that leg, you could end it all in one play, a layup, a free throw, a box out, whatever the case is, it can end. So you need something to fall back on. And I'm not saying college is for everybody, but make sure that you have a fallback. Everybody wants to be in the NBA, everybody wants to be a professional athlete, but at the same token, when you look at the numbers,
said.
Very small. I remember when I went to 5-star, they were saying it was like 3%. I think the number now was like 1.9 or something like that.
If it is 1%.
You know, like everybody's playing basketball now. Basketball is becoming a global game.
Right.
I mean, so he's giving more people opportunities to become professional at something. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see
That's a
it.
very good point. So you guys are both fly guys, you know. You guys got good taste,
I dabble.
you know. You dabble a little bit. You guys are,
UPS jacket.
yeah. Show 'em the.
What can Brown do for you?
What can Brown do for you, though? Like, really?
So, a little bit about the sneaker community. Where do you guys see the sneaker trend going?
Oh, I will go first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I should trademark what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
There's an influx of posers, and that's due to bots, resellers, greed. I will go back to this year because it's a golden year in my life. It's a golden year in the sneaker game. 2006. I mean, that's the last time I remember actually, you know, waking up, taking a nap during Friday night, waking up at midnight, going to the mall, camping out, hanging out, and everybody I was with that night, the 20, 30 people, we all got our pair. Not to say that everybody who showed up at 6 a.m. didn't or did, but that was the game. You know, you made that sacrifice then, and it was then. And, you know, obviously life evolves. Evolution happens. Computers, forget a sidekick. We got iPhones now. We got applications. I get it. Technology has been a gift and a curse. You know, everyone's trying to, like you said before, everyone's trying to get a profession for themselves. There's people at home making bots, figuring out how to get to the back door of Foot Locker's website, figuring out how to get to the back door of Nike's website before Nike actually hits the live button. It's kind of crazy. And then those numbers and everything, I don't want to get too analytical, but those numbers are skewed now because a computer sees 7,000 requests for one sneaker and one size. The company now uses that number and they're like, yo, we're gonna produce this many because we wanna make sure we feed this demand. And it's like, okay, a lot of classics are now being overproduced. I'm not gonna say the quality is where it needs to be, but the quality is okay. But now, the person that wasn't rocking this kick before has the kick. And I understand everybody needs an opportunity, but it's like, how many times can you drop a True Blue 3?
Should there be quick question with that? So should there be an age group to like this whole sneaker thing? Because I mean, you see different age groups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's age. I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's more of a creating a path and destiny thing. It's like, you know, speakeasies. People who know about speakeasies know about speakeasies. You know that you do 3 knocks and you know the password, the dude opens the door. He's like, all right, you're in, and you get invited into a place where they're selling bootleg alcohol and drinks until 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be something like that for the sneaker game. Not to say that these apps and stuff are not the idea, but there needs to be something else that really takes it to the next level. I have ideas, but I will not talk about them. Write me a check.
Lance?
I mean, RussB, you really hit it on the head with that. I agree with a lot of stuff he said. Just for me, it's more of a genuine thing. Like my path in the sneaker game, I was put on by my older sister, who was put on by her boyfriend, and she had more kids than I did when I was younger. And then I started approaching the same size as her, like, hold on, let me wear these Space Jams to grandma's real quick, like, because I didn't have nothing as fresh as those when she had them. So I kind of grew into it. So for me, it's not, I hate the term hype beast. I really hate the term sneakerhead. It's very authentic. And with that being said, I just say kind of be you. Like, you don't have to like what other people like. You don't have to wear what other people wear. That's what fashion is. Really be true to you and kind of, you know, it's okay. You can like what everybody likes, but just, you know, do it within your own style and your own speed. Like, I don't rush to wear black cement 3s that just dropped because, you know, I had the last ones, fortunately. And I get what you said. There are people who don't get to cop. And it's a great feeling because I didn't have Royal Ones until, you know, 2016, 2017, whatever year it came out. But it's just, it's all a cycle. And I just think the game is a little bit polluted now. They are dropping some good stuff, but they are dropping a lot of stuff and just kind of bombarding it without kind of thinking out those processes, like you said, and really trying to get in tune with the culture in the right way instead of just oversaturating the market and putting out things that they think people want to see.
Now, I know you guys see a lot of people who aren't even into the sneaker culture
Yeah.
getting into the sneaker
Yeah.
culture just because
Yeah.
they see the money coming in,
Yeah.
they hear about it on social media. And do you feel like that's where all this frustration is coming from?
It's a little bit. I mean, it's tough. Like once you make a popping product, people are gonna gravitate whether they like it or not. Just again, because you want that cool factor, you want to be in, you want to have something of value, whether you're keeping it or selling it. And I mean, I can respect resellers in a certain light. That it's a hustle. There's a bunch of other hustles that people do, so I respect it. I just there's just got to be some courtesy to the game. Like, don't be too overly greedy and kind of share your success story, share some secrets.
Yeah.
Like, if we all work together in terms of anything, I think things will be better. So that being said, it's kind of like a free-for-all with those newcomers and stuff like that, and it's making things harder, especially those computer processes like Sneakers app and all of those things. Like,
Yep.
It makes them more of a headache than it really needs to be. Like, for example, Foot Locker app was very easy when it came out. Like, I got a couple things off there, got like 4 Royal Ones off there.
Okay.
Now I go to get something that's even more general, and I'm just striking out. So it's just interesting how things can change from a month-to-month basis.
Okay. Good point. So you care to share that secret?
I mean, it's really no secret, man. I mean, it's just all about going for things that you like, being who you are and not following the crowd, not being a hype beast. I hate that word too, but it falls in the sense of people who just go after hype stuff. I mean, I just seen something that dropped on the internet. I like it as a shoe, but do I want it? No. There's things that you could admire about the game and what's coming out and this, that, and the third, but you don't need to have every shoe. You can't take it with you. My mama told me that. You can't take it with you. But I enjoy a sneaker that tells a story, something that brings back a memory for me. Obviously something that somebody that I admire wore. If we're talking about Michael Jordan, if it's a shoe that he actually wore, and I've seen a game or I know the story behind it, I'm gonna try to get it or I want it. But all those other colorways and stories, it's like, I appreciate it. Do I need it? Nah. But yeah, the game.
Yep. I agree. So one of the sayings of 2017 was trust the process. So I want to ask you guys, what's Russ's process? What's Lance's process for 2018?
Easily answer that.
And in life, you guys can throw out your gems.
I mean, I can use it. The process is just kind of, staying the course, sticking to your goals, sticking to your morals, your values, what's true to you. Like, honestly, just staying focused. I feel like in a time of social media where we're attached to our phones 24/7, watching TV a bunch of and just constantly locked in, we don't focus enough. We don't meditate. We don't really think about where we want to be in life. We don't sacrifice. We're buying these kicks. I'm buying these kicks.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna help me years down the line. If I'm not being smart about it, It's always cool to buy when you have stuff, but just don't do it to fit in. Definitely pace yourself. Again, stay true to your goals, your visions. Write stuff down if you have to. Just, again, Kobe Bryant's one of my favorite athletes, and, basketball translates to life with him because he just teaches life lessons through ball. You just have to be focused and lock in, black out, seriously, and then you can really achieve what you want to do, because I've done things in a short amount of time recently, and I'm slowly seeing that I'm getting to where I want to be. So
Okay.
by seeing that, I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to keep working hard, keep trying to do things, and like you said, goal is to get a promotion. Trusting the process and just being who I am, sticking to what I know and feel, and hoping that, leaving it up to the universe and hoping that everything falls in place.
Good morals. That's good.
Yeah. For me, some of the keys are self-awareness, self-happiness. Don't rely on other people for your happiness. Don't be complacent. It's okay to be okay where you're at, but also look towards what's coming next. I think that's one thing that I like to do, that I've learned from my people, from my family, and even some of my friends and mentors. They've taught me to, make sure that I'm looking towards what's the next. What am I doing? What am I doing now that's going to put me in a better position later? Eat good, living a fast life and doing whatever it is that you're doing. You can get caught up and you see the nearest golden arches, you're like, oh, let me go get a McChicken, and then that McChicken turns to, I need a crane to get out of my bed. But yeah, eat healthy, stay active. Whatever it is that you do, whether it be lacrosse, basketball, football, soccer, running, jogging, swimming, do it, stay there because it changes your mood. People don't even know, like those endorphins start kicking off when you start, sweating and everything like that. Stay around like-minded people. Stay around those people, whatever it is that you're doing, stay in that lane. And stop trying to network up, network across. Build with people who are in.
I like that.
Yeah.
You might need to repeat that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said we're gonna network. Don't network up, network across. And what that means is, yes, everybody wants to hang out with Diddy. Everybody wants to do stuff that Cal is doing. Everybody wants to see Kendrick and being backstage. But it's like, where's that gonna get you? Those people are already there. Who was with you on the same level or near you, and how can you guys come together and put your services and your skills and talents together to really elevate as a group? Those are the keys right now for me. I don't have enough space on my keychain anymore, so
There you go.
keep it right there, locksmith.
That's it. Good points. So you guys want to close it up and bring anything out? Have any?
Go Golden State. No changes this year.
Okay.
Unlike the Cavs, who got a whole new 5 a couple times. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Spurs and 6.
Spurs and 6.
Fundamental basketball.
You heard it here first. Spurs and 6.
Spurs and 6.
We'll see.
MVP, LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh my God.
20 and 20 a night. Let's go!
Good Lord.